let's make some predictions for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Hey yo, Chris here, and you're tuned into the Delta. Hope everything's going well, and it's finally time. The season begins this weekend, starting on the 29th, races on a Saturday. Remember that. We've been waiting for 3 whole months for this time to come, and it's finally happening. I'm excited. I hope you're excited. I'm a little under the weather with a sore throat, but I got my tea, and nothing's going to slow me down to enjoy this upcoming weekend. So what we're going to do for this video is we're going to make a predictions video of what I think is going to happen as the weekend persists, and mainly the race. Before we get started, I'd like to cover a little bit of housekeeping stuff. If you're not interested in that, I will put a little timestamp of when we actually start the prediction part of the video. But going over some stuff, I got real professional and got myself a planner. And I'm just like looking over some of the things that are happening this month with Formula One and the content that is available. And truth be told, I'm just a one-man show. I am the creative director. I am the sound man. I am the script writer. I'm the recorder. I'm the videographer. I do the video editing, and all that stuff takes a lot of time. And I'm having a blast doing it. But when I take a look at like the other YouTube channels out there, they're just pumping stuff out. And that's fine. It's fun. It's entertaining. I just don't have that capability. I'm also a husband and a father of 2 with a third on the way. I have other obligations I got to take care of. I have a real life job. So as much as I'd love to do a reaction video to practice and a reaction video to quali and a reaction video to the race and all these other fun little things in between, in a realistic fashion, I just don't see that happening. But I will give everything my go and put out the best content I can. And I think that's what matters to me, is instead of putting out 4, 5, 6 videos on a race week that are poor quality, I'd rather put 1, 2, or 3 videos out that actually matter. I'm not going to sit there and say I'm never going to do a quali reaction, or I'm never going to do another prediction again, or I'm always going to do predictions and always do qualies, but I won't do practices. It's kind of where I find the time and where it fits into my schedule, where I can put a video out in a timely manner. It makes no sense for me to put out a quali reaction video 4 days after the race, if you know what I mean. So if I have time for a quali reaction, I'm all about it. If I don't have time, I got to sit there and decide the race is more important to respond to than it is to respond about a free practice or a quali. Maybe I'll put out a short or 2 about something. Maybe that will be the way I approach it. But I just wanted to get that out there. Not that anyone's sitting around saying, man, he should really be putting out this video, and I wish he'd put out a video with that. I'd love to put out a video every single day if I could. It's just not attainable as a one-man band. Maybe if we grow and I can actually get some help around, then we'll cross this bridge at a later time. But right now, that's just where it's at. But to bring in a little bit more excitement, I'd like to remind everybody that my Twitch handle will be in the description. I want to do some fun live game streaming there for Formula One related content. I'm going to do it regardless. So on Thursdays and or Fridays, it depends on how the races weekend is structured and stuff like that, and if I'm back to work or if I'm not back to work, or if I'm super busy at work. But we will do something fun for that race weekend with a Formula One video game, and I'd really appreciate it if you guys stopped by, hung out, said hello, chatted up, things like that. It's not serious. We're just goofing around, having fun, and just getting excited for the race that's about to start. So for this particular weekend, we'll probably stream on Thursday and Friday, and maybe we'll start with F1 Manager, and then Friday goof around with, Formula One 2023, something like that. I have a promo video at the end of this video that you guys can watch if you are interested in learning a bit more. But other than that, I'm ready to get started with these predictions, so let's move along. All right, prediction time. These predictions are supposed to be fun, and sometimes I'm gonna throw out a wild dart at one or two, just because I think it'd be great to see some chaos or something like that. And others will be opinions that are based off of analysis and what I see, you know, what the numbers say or what I see on TV. And then obviously there's some gonna be emotional picks, probably related to Ferrari, Charles Leclerc, and Carlos Sainz. That's where my emotion goes to the most. But if you guys agree, that is awesome, and I'd love to hear about it. And if you don't, that's okay too. That's why they are predictions, and the points are awarded based on actual events and not what I have to say. And if you don't agree with me, I'd love to hear your reason why you don't either. So let's have some fun, and let's get into some of these predictions here. We're also kind of approaching this a little different. Instead of me just going, P20 all the way down to P1, rattling off names. That's just a long video of me just rattling off names of why I think one person is a good driver or not a good driver for a particular weekend. This is gonna kind of just be like some subjects, 6 of them I believe in total, and what we'll do is then it'll either be an individual driver or a team as a whole, and like I said, it will be over throughout the course of the weekend. Could be something surprising like, Haas takes pole position. That would be an exciting thing to happen. Are we going to predict that? I don't know. But that's kind of how I want to structure this. But I don't want to get into it too much more. Let's just get into our first category, which is the biggest loser. The biggest loser will most likely be the person that finishes last or the team that just didn't show up for that race weekend. And for this weekend's race in Bahrain, I have Williams. They were the team that got the least number of laps in testing. I mean, I'm just basing this off of what I saw in that. Like, Williams was never a great team to begin with. And coming into this season, you would have thought that they wanted to get a lot more testing done. And they just didn't. They got the least number of laps. They have a young driver in Logan Sargent in his second year who needs drive time to get better. And they gave him the least number of laps of everyone competing this weekend. To top it all off, Sargent also had a bit of a spin out day one that cut his day short. So in fact, I wouldn't even be surprised if Logan Sargent comes in last place in this week's race. Alex Albon, on the other hand, he will probably have a better time this weekend just because he's an experienced race car driver. But I don't think he's going to do extremely well because, again, just Williams didn't show up to testing. So Albon will be better than his counterpart, but overall, Williams was unimpressive, and I just didn't see the data get compiled well enough that gives me the confidence that they would perform well this weekend. In our next category, we have the exceptional performance. This is the driver or team that performed better than expected, not necessarily the fastest or the winner, but just somebody that we were like, oh, they're an average driver and they performed great. Or, hey, we expected them to do poorly and they did way better than poorly. Somebody like that. And for this week, I have Daniel Ricciardo. I wouldn't be surprised if RB as a whole performs well as a team this weekend. I have really no real rhyme or reason. It's nothing fancy. It's not like I'm thinking Daniel Ricciardo gets podium or wins the race. But I do think he is going to have a good performance. So Daniel Ricciardo, 4 points in the V-Carb at the Bahrain GP. We'll move on to the next category, the letdown performance. This is for the driver or team that has like high expectations, but just didn't perform or get it done out there for the weekend. And for this weekend, I have Aston Martin. I just have this weird feeling that they're going to come into the season flat. Lance Stroll, I mean, he's going to be okay at best. And I just don't think the car is ready for Fernando Alonso time. Alonso's greatness may shine through, but not for many points, if any at all. And as a mid-tier team like Aston Martin, I expect points. I expect one of your drivers to be a top 8, and I expect the second driver to be a top 12. That's the type of thing that I want out of my mid-tier. And then every so often, when you're a mid-tier team, planets align properly, and one of your drivers gets a top 5 and the other guy gets a top 8, and you had a great finish, and that's why you're sitting in 4th, 5th, or 6th spot in the Constructors' Championship. So, low points for Alonso, no points for Stroll, disappointment for Aston Martin at Bahrain. Now time for a fun pick, and I call it the shocker pick. It's a wild pick that no one saw coming. It could be something crazy like Magnussen gets podium or Verstappen doesn't finish. And for this particular weekend, I actually have a DNF, Sergio Perez. There's no real rhyme or reason again with this one. It's supposed to be a shocker, so it's really like I can't base it off of analytical data. But what I can say is the car did have some issues for Checo throughout testing. It was nothing serious, seemingly, but issues nonetheless. I just have this weird feeling Checo is going to have some sort of mechanical issue. Plus, one of the things I get to do with this kind of pick is I hedge it because accidents happen. So, a mechanical issue or a wreck, Checo DNFs this weekend. For the next category, I have the podium picks. It's for the 2 drivers that made the podium next to the winner. Carlos Sainz and Lewis Hamilton have great races this weekend, in my opinion, but not excellent ones. The people on the podium will be Lando Norris and Charles Leclerc in a tight P2 versus P3 race. I don't know who's going to take one over the other, but I think it's going to be tight between those two. Ferrari is on board trying to make Leclerc the world champion, at least until Hamilton shows up, but that's next year. This is this year. I see a great quali and a great race for Charles Leclerc, and Lando is on the team of the year. At least in my opinion, the team of the year. They seem very confident in the car with a confident number 1 driver. Lando is going to shine through at some point in his career. Might as well start now. Lando shows the world what he and the McLaren are made of, and they take podium. Now the final pick, and this one is predicting the winner. Now for the winner this weekend, it will be George. Just kidding. It's going to be Verstappen. I wish it was more shocking and surprising, but it's not. Look, I don't think Red Bull will be as dominant as last year, but they are still going to be great, and they are still going to be hard to beat. Verstappen is just amazing. You can love him, you can hate him. It doesn't change the fact that he is great at his job. He seems to eat, sleep, and breathe racing all the time. And it's hard to beat that mentality. It kind of reminds me of like the Kobe Bryant mentality, where like some guys went to practice at the time they were supposed to show up, and then they left practice at the time they were supposed to leave, and then they went to the club and danced their ass off. But Kobe Bryant showed up before practice and stayed late past practice, then went to bed, and then did the same thing over and over and over again and pushed himself every single day. Now, I don't know these personal lives of these race car drivers, but Verstappen just seems to be that guy. He wakes up and thinks about racing, and then does things all day to be better at racing. And then before he goes to bed, he prays about racing. And then while he's sleeping, he dreams about racing. And until somebody matches that type of bravado and attitude, it's hard to beat a number 1 guy like that. So until I see something from the other teams and other drivers that show that they can compete, competing with Verstappen within a second or two, competing with that Red Bull consistently, seeing that Red Bull has an unreliable car, it's hard to pick anyone other than Max Verstappen to be the race winner. So to start the year off, Max Verstappen wins the Bahrain Grand Prix. Those are my Bahrain GP predictions. The F1 season is finally here, and however things may shake out this weekend, I just hope that the fun and excitement matches the anticipation I've been feeling for the last few weeks. What are you guys looking forward to this weekend? Seeing if someone can beat the almighty Verstappen? Is that possible? Any dark horses in the running, in your opinion? Let me know in the comments. But thanks for watching. My name is Chris, and you've tuned into the Delta. Don't forget to stop by the Delta Twitter, where I post video uploads, stream updates, and F1 related news articles and stuff like that. The links for Twitch and Twitter are in the description. But until next time, take care, stay safe, and have fun out there. Bye, everybody. Hey everyone, thanks again for tuning in. If you're enjoying this video, you're going to love what we have over on Twitch. Over there, I may play many games, but with the F1 season quickly upon us, I want you to join me with some F1 gaming content. I am thinking of playing games like F1 23 or F1 Manager on Thursdays and or Friday nights prior to the actual race in real life. For example, if they are racing in Silverstone, we race in Silverstone, and see how we stack up as a driver or team manager. Over there, we can chat about F1, share some opinions, stories, jokes, or anything really, accompanied by some fun Formula 1 gameplay. Head over to the Twitch channel at twitch.tv/delta_4_7_G to join the fun. Don't miss out, hit that follow button, and be a part of the action. See you there. Oh, too fast, slow down. Well, missed all this.